Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the show today. Another episode from Uplifted podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest. But before we introduce our guest, we're going to talk about what is Uplifters is all about. So Uplifters is a power-packed podcast where we host successful business owners, influencers, entrepreneurs, and community-focused professionals who are committed to live an extraordinary life and inspire others. And we dive into open dialogue and authentic conversations about life, about business, about relationships, health, struggles, obstacles, and challenges that our guests have experienced, and then their triumph, their successes, the mindset that helps them get there, and the insights to inspire and motivate our listeners and others in a community to keep uplift themselves. So let me introduce our very special guest today, Markian Benhamou. I had the pleasure to meet Markian a little bit ago, and he's just an extraordinary individual. So Markian is an influencer and an entrepreneur. He calls himself a culture kid, and he's the founder of Smile Squad. Markian is committed to creating a smile movement, a movement to inspire people to smile more and live a happier life. So Markian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. So why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself, about your journey, and what do you think that people should know about you?
Definitely. I think the first thing that people should know about me is I'm what is called a third culture kid. So I know a lot of people are not familiar with this. Generally speaking, it means that you grew up in a country other than your parents' nationalities. So in my case, my mom is American, my dad is French, and I grew up in Russia, Spain, and Hong Kong. And that's usually not an answer I give when people ask me where I'm from. My easy answer is I'm from Spain. Although that exposure to different cultures growing up, as well as traveling with my family, has really shaped me and my personality. It's helped me become more open-minded, see how people of different walks of life live. And that's one unique thing about me. The other unique thing about me, I'd say, is my passion for entrepreneurship. I think it stems from my dad. My dad is an entrepreneur. And as I approached that teenage years and thinking about what I wanted to do, I knew it would evolve around business. I didn't know what. But now I have a company. We make positive videos on Facebook and YouTube. We have a team. And our mission is to make people smile.
That's wonderful. So take us through a little bit about your childhood, about some of the ways that your personality has been designed and you've learned from your father, from potentially other mentors. But also, what are some of the struggles that you had and some of the lessons that you learned from it and that you're using today to inspire other people?
I think my biggest personal challenge growing up has been being shy. I used to be a super shy kid. I was the kid at the back of the room at dance parties. I didn't have the confidence to approach strangers and generally just kind of kept to myself. Emotional intelligence wasn't my strength. It still is one of my weaknesses. However, when I was around 14, 15, I would see my extroverted friends and I would see how well they connected with others. And I was envious of that. I want other people to connect with me the way they connected with my extroverted friends. So over the next 5 years, maybe, I observed the behavior of extroverts. I copied what they did, whether it's the intonation in their voice or their facial expressions as they're talking, even as I'm doing right now, or the way they laugh outwards rather than more inwards, or breaking barriers with physical touch. There's so much. I even try to make a course about it. It didn't sell really well, so I maybe want to do it again in the future. But that was definitely a big personality transformation for me because I wanted to be a better version of myself and connect with people better.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And now you have, I don't know if I have the most recent stats, but your videos has been watched all over the world, over 2 billion, or I think a lot, even a lot more than that, right? And you are not only making people smile and inspiring, you're also employing other people, and working together in a team with other people, and you're inspiring them, encouraging them, teaching them, learning from them, right? You're building a community that is absolutely extraordinary. And I know what you shared with me, so I know how amazing what you're doing is. What do you say to people that might say to themselves, I'm already the way that I am. I don't think I could change my personality traits or the things that that's who I am. That's my personality.
I would first ask them if they want to change. If they don't want to, then there's not much room for growth there. However, if they want to change, or at least thinking about it, I would say that it's possible. I think that's what self-growth is. And I think I've noticed that that's one of my values, is self-growth and always becoming the best person that I can be. And I'm a very analytical, maybe type A person, where I observe and I break everything down to a science or a formula. Even when it comes to more abstract things like human behavior, you can still like pick up the way people talk, or the body language and all that. So I think it's very possible to keep growing as a person and work on your own skills. And I don't know a lot of people who would disagree with that.
Yeah, so we encounter a lot of situations, right? Every day brings and different situations that may not go our way, right? Some obstacles, some challenges, some conflicts with other people. And the way that we make decisions and choices, generally speaking, the cumulative effect of that creates our environment and our situations. So what are some of the things that may be helping you recognize what the decisions or the choice that you could make, or you should make, or you get to make in challenging situations? And if feel free to share maybe an example or two. And how do you uplift and see the opportunity in those challenges?
There's been lots of obstacles that we've overcome within our business of making videos, maybe creating a new style of content, and that failing. I think the best philosophy that we've kind of used is, it's not winning or failing, it's winning or learning.
Yeah.
So every failure is a great learning experience, and a lot of the times it's necessary in order to win. For example, so if you change that mindset with failing and have a positive, healthy mindset with it, and see it as a learning experience, I think that can get you over a lot of obstacles. And just knowing that failing is inevitable, then it's not so much of a shock, and you know that it's part of the process, and you have a better relationship with it.
So thank you for sharing. So what are some of the goals that you set for yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? And what kind of inspiration you want to create in the world?
What I've noticed that excites me is growth. Even I've built this company to a stage where it's great, it's working, it's making money, although staying where we're at isn't exciting. So I always want to keep growing. My overall mission in life, I think, is to make the most out of my life. So I happen to be in the social media space right now, and I want to grow that bigger and create a bigger media company with several different content verticals that inspire people to smile in different ways. Maybe a travel, maybe a food, whatever it might be, and creating different business projects out of that. I think, what was the second half of your question?
And then, what do you want to create in terms of inspirations and impact in the world?
I think the mission that we have, and the why of any business is what gives you purpose. It's what makes it fulfilling. There's a deeper reason, why you're making videos, or why you're selling a product. Maybe you're making someone's life easier. So I think that is the inspiration, is to continue to put out positive content that makes someone's day or inspires people to smile more in their life and connect with the people around them. So it's very, very purpose driven. And I think that's what I've been gravitating towards when it comes to what content should we create next.
Yeah, it's amazing because this is when we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and when we do stuff ourselves, right? We see that if we only aim for money, that's something that it doesn't have enough, power behind or energy to uplift really the ship, if you will, right? And so, the more purpose and mission we have, and then someone told me before, if the purpose is bigger than the fear, then there's nothing that could not be accomplished, right? And this is very, very powerful statement.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about your mentors and what you think leadership is, and who are the kind of people that you want around you?
It's a good question. I'd say my biggest mentor has been my dad. I think anytime I've had any questions or challenges with business, he's always the person I go to and always seems to know what the right answer is. I think one trait of leadership that I've learned to value a lot is empathy and dealing with people. You have to understand how people work, how people think, and it's a little harder for me because I'm so, again, like analytical and want to make always like logical, rational decisions. But yeah, working on empathy, I think is a great trait, and I'm always open to learning, especially from other people, other mentors. I think one thing I've lacked so far in my professional life is working in a company with great people above me, because I haven't worked in a company really. I dropped out of college to do my own thing and haven't had that experience of seeing someone above me and being like, wow, I want to be like them. I've kind of had to just use my own resources or just learn by experience. So that's one thing that I'm maybe looking forward to learning in the future.
Yeah. So can you tell us what are some of the things that you're grateful for, and what are some of the things that you wish you have done different?
I'm grateful for a lot of things. I definitely have had a blessed life. My family, having supportive parents, having traveled around the world. Secondly, my health. I think that's another thing we take for granted until something goes wrong. There's so many the people around me, the friends that I made in LA, my quality of life in LA, my business, a lot of things I'm grateful for. Anything that I would have done differently, I think I've really enjoyed learning through experience. I think I'm grateful that I don't have many regrets so far. I think that's one fear I have, is like fear of regret, and looking back at a certain point in my age in my life and be like, I wish I did something else. I don't think I've lived. I'm sure I will have maybe regrets, but I don't think I have the perspective being in it right now. So I don't have a great answer for that.
It's a great place to be. It's all a matter of perspective, right? We if we look at challenges as lessons and opportunities, then we don't have that many regrets, right?
Yeah.
Because everything happens for a reason. I know it sounds like cliche, but it's, if we look at it in that perspective, then it's we have a lot to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people are looking at life, and, we hear that term, they want financial independence, they want to be a successful entrepreneur, a business owner. Can you share some of your insights on maybe some of the most important business lessons that you learned, and maybe a couple of strong financial lessons that you have acquired?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest business lessons I've learned has been the importance of patience and hard work. It took me 3 years of making videos until it started making money. I think a lot of people now who want to be creators expect the money to come within the first year or 6 months and aren't willing to have the patience or put in the hard work to wait 3 years. I was lucky that I started when I was 16, where I didn't need a job to pay for rent, or, I was living with my family. So patience, hard work, as well as that relationship with failure, which I talked about earlier. In terms of financial independence, I think I've learned that money is freedom, and it's important to work and be financially literate and educated. And you know, my dad, when I turned 18, I think he taught me like how to create a balance sheet and a cash flow statement for yourself personally, which is, I think, a lot of, it's something that people don't do for themselves. You do it for a company, but maybe not for yourself. So I keep track of everything, and I know what my money situation is. So it's, yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm really lucky to have had that exposure to my dad teaching me that, or even talking to people like you and other advisors on good decisions to make with money.
Yeah, that's super powerful. Thanks for sharing. One of the things that I admire about you, Markian, is that you're not afraid of this. You know, there's a stigma out there that people who are nice and doing good things may not translate to financial success or business success. And, you know, obviously you're proving that this is, you know, a fallacy or a myth, right? And the other thing that I admire about you is really no judgment in terms of the people that you collaborate with, the people that you learn from, and you know, it breaks all those barriers that we kind of learn and hear from external sources that, you know, might lead us to believe that we should judge, we should be divided, all of those things that, you know, we really can do without. So tell us a little bit about that mindset of the uniting and learning from others and listening and, you know, being kind and being successful.
Yeah, I don't see why they can't go together. I think maybe you might think that if you think that in order to make money, you need to sacrifice or you need to take something away from someone, which is not necessary to making money. I think it's been a very personal journey, meaning reading books, watching videos on ways to invest money or how to save money, things like that. I will say that I'm curious to explore the taboo of money in society. I know it's something that people don't share much, like talk about amongst themselves. I have some insecurities when it comes to talking about money with my team, for example. And maybe, I'm sure you have some advice, but should you talk to your team about money? Who in your team should you talk about money with? Will they understand how much you're getting paid versus how much they're getting paid? I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, you know, it's an amazing thing where, you know, it was said that money is one of the most intimate things, right? It's even more intimate than physical contact. And, you know, through my own struggles in my childhood, as I shared some of them with you, and some of our audience know about my story, is that at the end of the day is the relationship that we have with money, right? There's no right or wrong way of starting the conversation about it. There's potentially a discovery process, kind of putting everything on a table and really, you know, having a dialogue about it to see how other people feel about money, what's their true, authentic internal conversations that they say about it. And then you really get to see if they have any limitations or there's irresponsibility with money, maybe learning that has been, you know, not, you know, conducive or constructive or productive for someone in your team. So I don't see why we can't have full transparency, right? Obviously, there's some things in a company that maybe you want to run yourself, but in terms of the financial and making sure that the financial health and the relationship that each one of the teammates have with money is healthy, that's just, you know, I believe is you know, a great thing and a great contribution to contribute to the whole team. So I don't see anything wrong with it, right? It's I certainly share with my team what the whole thing look like, and you know, and I want to have those intimate conversations with them, because then I could see if there's any blockages, or if there's any things that they, you know, contribute to them not being successful, or lack of motivation, right? This is something that is real for a lot of people. And so yeah, I think it's an important conversation.
How do you feel about pay transparency, meaning everyone in the company knows what everyone makes?
Yeah, you know, especially if based on performance base, I don't see why there shouldn't be a transparency, right? Because if you build that structure for them to achieve greater height by attaching the performance to it, then why not? Right? It's I don't see a reason why not, because they can reach those heights as well if they did well, and if you build that structure for them to have that way.
Okay. So that's assuming that everyone has the same structure, that
Yeah,
you pay the
assuming that
same
everybody has the
commission.
same structure.
Okay.
Yeah, or if they don't, right, and you can build it to them in a way that if they reach certain metrics, they could climb to the next level, and the next level. That is also something that they, you know, they could aim for, right? The whole idea, just like you talked about, and I personally believe that growth is a constant thing. We never really stop growing. If you create that structure for them, you know, and you're being very transparent with them that the financial element is attached to it, then I think people would not feel that, you know, something is unfair, or right, it's building that structure for them. And it allows them to have those conversations, like real conversations about money that might be uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. It's something I'm learning.
Yeah. So yeah. So what, you know, what do you want? I'm going to put you on the spot on that a little bit. What do you want for your team? Since you're, you know, how do you want to see them succeed, and you know, how do you want to contribute to their growth? I know you're doing a lot for them and with them.
Two things. One, short term, which is creating good company culture. And I think we've done that really well in our team, where people are happy, people are excited. We care about everyone. We listen to everyone. We reach out on an individual basis, and to make sure they're happy, and if there's anything we can do better. And secondly, more long term, is that they grow. I think that's one thing that I learned that people want most in a job, is that it allows them to grow. And whenever people stop growing, they're going to leave. Which then made me realize what my role as a CEO is, which is to grow the company. That has to be my number one role, because if the company doesn't grow, I can't pay people more, and then they're going to leave because they haven't been growing personally and financially. So that's what I've identified as so far is the important things when it comes to
Yeah.
thinking about employees.
It's amazing. You know, leadership is a challenge and an opportunity, because in order to continue to contribute to someone's growth, we have to grow ourselves, right? It's like, you know, and we have to get more creative and more, right, developed and expand. And I mean, it's an extraordinary responsibility and a great opportunity to expand.
Yeah.
So can you share maybe a couple of very touching stories? I'm sure you get emails and you get responses from people, and you make a lot of people days, you and your team. So can you share maybe one or two stories that really touched your heart and made a difference for you?
Yeah, it's definitely. One story that comes to mind is when I went to the Philippines. So I had a travel show with another creator called Nas Daily, and I was making videos around Asia, and one of the stops was the Philippines. And we have a very large Filipino fan base on our Facebook page. And when I went there, I never felt so much like a celebrity than that moment. I felt like Justin Bieber. I mean, there was so many people. We did a meetup. Everyone was like screaming, yelling. It was like amazing. And we have these shirts called Smile shirts, that smile in different languages. there were some people who like made them themselves, like they wrote it out or they printed it out themselves because they wanted really bad and maybe couldn't afford it. People had posters. It was amazing. Also the Filipinos are super generous people, and so that was really touching, seeing like the support of your viewers in person. And then we also have a Patreon, which we actually stopped. Patreon is kind of like a subscription membership where subscribers can like access exclusive benefits from their favorite creators. And we do a monthly Zoom call with our Patreon members. We just had one today, and actually we're stopping it this year. But it's super touching to have that one-on-one conversation with people who watch your videos, and seeing the diversity in age, in backgrounds, in nationalities. Just seeing like how the widespread of your videos is really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So couple more questions. What do you say to people who want to become an influencer or want to do something for their business, that it's in the digital age, right? There's a lot of business owners out there that, maybe they don't know much about the internet, or they don't know much about the digital and the online world. What are some of words of advice do you have for them?
Firstly, you have to treat it like a business. We're no longer in the days where you could just upload a couple random videos and blow up and then turn into a hobby, or treat it like a hobby and then it works. You have to treat it like a business. You have to have patience and know that it's going to take months or years until it starts working. You have to be unique, find a unique positioning. You have to, in order to find your voice, you have to experiment with lots of different videos, which is kind of like where the mindset of failing comes in really handy, is because in order to find your voice, you need to do it and fail. So like it's part of the process. So just do it now and get it over with. That's kind of our mentality with our new channel. Those are a couple of things that I would say for people who want to become creators.
Awesome. Yeah, the fear of failure is something that paralyzes so many people, and it's really a necessary steps to really get to the success. And even that success, eventually, if we're committed to growth, could be seen as a quote unquote failure. That word, for some reason, it just is so scary for so many people. So it's a needed step in the journey of success.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what is the legacy? I don't know, we're like however many years from now, what legacy do you want this world to get out of this extraordinary human being called Markian?
I'm not really sure. I think I'm not really sure what the perspective is on legacy, and I need to learn more about that. But I think what I want people to remember me as is someone who's positive, who is nice, who made the most out of his life. That's really, I think, what matters to me, and that my family is healthy and supported, and I don't need to be a star or like known by a lot of people. I don't think those things are super important to me, but just that I've done some good things in the world, and I've impacted as many people as I can. And I think those are what matter to me.
That's wonderful. All right. Thank you. So, okay. So we're in the section where we give our guest 60-second uninterrupted, whatever you want to share, whatever you want to promote, whatever message you want to share, give. So please go right ahead. The mic is yours.
I want to talk about the power of positivity and the power of smiling. I think it's something that I learned in my personality journey of becoming more extroverted, is how powerful a smile is. Just you entering a room with a smile on your face breaks down barriers. It makes you a lot more approachable. People immediately see you as someone that's open and friendly. It allows you to connect on deeper levels with people. One quote that I really like that encapsulates all this is, smile and the world will smile back. Good things happen, positive energy, karma, whatever you want to call it. Having a positive attitude just it creates new opportunities. It allows you to make the most out of your life. And I encourage everyone to be positive. And when it comes to making decisions or reacting to situations emotionally, take the positive approach. Everything happens for a reason. It's a positive thought to have. And, wear a smile on your day-to-day life.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. So where can people find you? How can we support your cause? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you can find my page on Markian B on all the social medias. You can also find our company and team's channel, which is Smile Squad, again on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I'm going to conclude with a quote from you. A smile can turn someone's bad day around. And best of all, it's contagious. The kindness can be passed on to you too. So let's uplift, let's continue uplift and make the world smile together. Keep raising the bar, guys.